Hey, how's it going? It's been a while since I've been on here. A lot of stuff to talk about in the markets. I won't because it's just insanity. We got the Federal Reserve just pumping in billions and billions of dollars. The market goes up every time there's a tweet that supposedly is a deal. It's like the deal that cried wolf. I can't believe it. But let's get on something else. So I'm going to start a project here on this channel, and it's from personal experience. And there's a lot of guys that are doing it, but are doing something similar. It's kind of being the father to a nation of, or just giving fatherly advice to a nation full of guys that never, might not have had a father around or maybe bad influence. And I'm going to start, today. And it has nothing to do with relationships or anything like that, which we'll get into. There's a lot of self-realization. I've gone through it my entire life, and it took me a long time to figure out what the hell is going on because there's a lot of brainwashing out there. A lot of school system and whatnot telling you that you're hang on right when you start this stuff, here comes a text message. Don't get a text message for hours on end, and then right when you push record, all of a sudden you start blowing up. It's like that's why I block everybody, and I just delete every damn person that I don't really have an intimate knowledge of what they're actually doing, i.e. like everybody besides the immediate family and my daughter's mother. Anyway, so I'd like to start with, basic knowledge. I've noticed this. I've been around. I drive across the country pretty much every month for work and I do a little bit of fishing and stuff, and to visit my daughter. Every month I drive, I probably do like 5,000 to 7,000 miles. And here's one thing I see at certain places. Guys don't know how to take care of their own vehicles. Now, I know if you've never had a man around a house, it's kind of tough to learn. Even if you do nowadays, here's the extent of what they know. Where's the nearest Jiffy Lube or whatever the hell shop so I can get reamed on some bare essential oil change or tire rotation, tire change. Maybe you need a tire repair. Shit, I've seen people with basic flat tires that have to get towed. I guess if you have the insurance, that's fine. The reason why I'm going to talk about this is because I've learned from experience over 15 years of breakdowns in some really hairy places, trial and error to have certain things on hand. I'll tell you a story, and this is kind of tough to admit. So I didn't, my father wasn't always around. When I did my first oil change, I dropped the transmission fluid on an F-150 and put the oil in there, so I couldn't back up hardly. And then I had essentially double the amount of oil. Until it took me a while, I figured it out. I did some troubleshooting. I was a troubleshooter. This is when I first joined the military, and I was in the enlisted at the time in the Marines, and they taught us a little bit of other troubleshooting. So I started looking for these causes, blah blah blah, just like I would on a jet. Freaking figured it out. Self-taught. And then my grandfather was around a little bit, get to talk to him, but they weren't around. Now I know a lot. I've broken down in some hairy situations, having that hike in the wintertime in southern Colorado on the mountains, 18 miles to a place to get a part to not only come all the way back to find out that I needed a different tool to hike all the way back and spend like 2 days out living in this truck. I've done that. And then recently I just broke down in South Dakota. I had to get a new rig. The old 6 or the old 5.9 Cummins, the engine didn't take a crap. The transfer case took a crap, just literally dumped out of the truck. And if you don't know what that is, please Google it, and you're in the right spot because we're going to go over just the basic knowledge. But in those cases where I'm from, here's what I always have, like an emergency kit, because you never know when you're going to be out there. Sometimes these places don't have signal. It is good to have towing insurance because I did have that and got towed in, but then I had to tow it back to where I'm from and get that. But here's what you need to do, and now you have YouTube. Now you have these things that you can check out. And I can do a video where we just go through and show you these parts, but right now I'm just kind of giving you a checklist. Basically what you need to know. You need to know where the oil is, how to check the oil. You need to know how to check your basic fluids, your coolant, your transmission fluid, know the difference underneath that truck or car. If you have a car, I'm not saying you need to have a truck to be a man or anything. You need a car, but you need to have this basic knowledge of how the basic operating mechanisms of the vehicle and how you, just an everyday driver, can maintain your vehicle without having to take it in. And a tire. Look up tires and where you can. get a basic repair kit. They have one. They look like ropes. They have like a rubberized sealant on there. And if you can find where the hole is, if you get a flat tire somewhere, you can patch it. And I've done it. I'm in the middle of Mexico with my daughter in the back going to Christmas to go visit my mom. Bam, flat tire. Well, I guess if you were average Joe, luckily there was a town there, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Okay, had the toolkit, knew, down the seam of that tire, if that hole is in there, not on the sidewalls or anything, you can repair that. You punch that baby in there, and then if you have a little air compressor, hook that thing up, shoot up enough air to get into town. And then you can, and that patch a lot of times will hold for a long time. I've driven thousands of miles on a patch like that. And then you go and you shoot it up the specs when you get into town. Save your bacon right there, potentially thousands of dollars. If towing costs, if you don't have the right insurance, or if you're sitting out there, always carry blankets, always carry fire starting equipment. I would say a sat phone, but that's expensive. But know the basics of your vehicle, and that's one thing that I've noticed. And I've seen guys they're going to O'Reilly's asking for what oil filter. I mean, just look it up. I mean, for God's sakes, if you don't know what oil filter's on your vehicle, this is what you need. This is basics. You need to know all this stuff. To me, that's part of being a man, to be a little self-sufficient. Plus, it gives you a little sense. I mean, you put the oil in, you do your own oil changes, or you can take it in, but just have this knowledge. Check it out. And it's a little part of manliness, if you ask me, and just being able to work on your own stuff, just the basics, and then being prepared when these situations go down. I mean, I've had another situation in New Mexico, of all places, getting stuck out there. Of course, it was icy roads, but we had the right stuff. I was stuck out there for 12 hours because they didn't know how to handle an ice storm and prepare the roads. But I had the blanket stuff. Me and my daughter, we were fine. But there's people out there just losing their minds. They had to set up, shelters and stuff because it was so cold out there, and people were not prepared. A lot of people were not prepared. And I've been broken down enough, and I've been in places where there's not towns within 100 miles, and I know what to have now. I'm in trial and error. But this is just, if I was you, I'd look up the base. I can do a video, and we can show you, like on my new truck, which I got a little, I mean, people might take my man card away from this, but I got went from a 250 Dodge Ram, 5.9, which I still have that thing. I'm probably going to sell it for parts because I don't have a lot of time to get a new transfer case, throw it in. It's really not that much, but it's just wintertime, and I don't want to deal with it. So I got a Dodge 1500 2014 Eco Diesel. And the first thing I did, pop that freaking manual open, look underneath that hood. Well, granted, you do this when you're going to get the vehicle anyway, but afterwards I reacclimated myself to it, looked up what the oil is. Hey, it turns out, they got a bulletin, you're using this kind of oil for it. I know exactly where that is. I know exactly where to get the oil filter. I know all the little basic details, not maybe little details. I'll go further into that engine a little bit later. But I know the basic details. I got, my toolkit, your basic toolkit in there, and your tire change and stuff, and then now outfitting it with some basic parts that always go bad. Tensioner pulleys. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and look that up. A tensioner pulley is and the tool to rack it back so that you can and your belt. And that tensioner pulley goes out a lot, and sometimes it snaps that belt, and that belt sometimes snaps. So if you have a spare of one tensioner pulley, and how to rack it back in the right proper socket or whatever mechanism it is to get it off, and then that belt, that serpentine belt, that will save your bacon too. So always carry a spare one of those. In certain instances, I carry a dummy pulley for the AC unit, like on my old truck. Carry that because that thing goes out every once in a while. Commonalities. You just look this stuff up, do a little research. And a little sense of pride when you get into this kind of stuff in your own vehicle as a man. But a lot of guys didn't know, I haven't learned this, so just do a little research. That'd be the first thing I do when I have a vehicle. Know where the oil is, know how to check it, know how to check your tires, know how to change a tire, know how to do this. It's sad. I don't see a lot. Anyway, I'll shoot out some more videos. Hopefully not as long as wait, but I've been super busy with the holidays and everything. And I'll talk to you later.